They're all gonna wave at you and you need to wave back. Except for girls. Sometimes girls don't wave.
2017, I got a Jeep Wrangler, and I had been wanting a Jeep Wrangler, how long? 20 years, maybe?
Yeah.
I wrote a song about wanting a Jeep Wrangler in high school. It was just something I had been longing for such a long time, and I had honestly shopped around for them probably 3 times over the previous 20 years. And then for one reason or another, I just couldn't get a new car then, and so I'd go through this cycle over and over again. I'm praying for this car, and I finally get it in 2017. First day, I get this Wrangler, and we're actually driving back from Kentucky, and I bought it out of state, obviously, and it was a little bit of a drive. And so I'm driving home. I'm like on top of the world, so ecstatic that I finally have this car. Everything seems good. And I'm noticing that even strangers are waving to me. And I'm like, oh, that's a fun Kentucky thing. Driving down these roads in Kentucky and everybody's waving and it's just great. And it's awesome. And then I get back to Nashville. And so the next day I go out and it's a beautiful day and I have the top down and I took the doors off. It's really amazing. I feel like I'm basically on a motorcycle with 4 wheels. It's great. And so I'm driving again and I'm driving down this road. And there's a lot of cars on this road, but I noticed this guy was waving to me, and I'm like, do I know you? And trying to look, and I didn't know him. I'm like, oh, maybe just confused me for somebody else. And then this just started happening more and more and more again. And then I was at a stoplight this one time, and this guy starts waving to me, so much. Almost falls out of his car waving to me. I'm like, what is going on? I feel like it started once I got this car, and I could not figure out what was going on. And so then it just finally dawned on me that every single person who I remember who had been waving to me was driving a Jeep too. There's a club here that I just joined. I didn't even know that I got in this club. Apparently this is a thing. If you have a Jeep and you drive by somebody else in a Jeep, you wave. That's what you do.
Yeah, I can remember Bob came home and he's like, are you taking the Jeep out? You have to wave at other people who are driving your Jeep. I was like, are you serious?
Yes,
like,
this is the thing.
Yeah, they're all going to wave at you and you need to wave back. Except for girls. Sometimes girls don't wave.
Sometimes if it's a 16-year-old girl driving her bright yellow Jeep, she doesn't wave.
Like Cher from Clueless.
So once I realized I'm in this club now and this is how you behave and what you do, I didn't want to miss any. So I started watching really, really closely, and so every time I'm driving, I'm looking around and quickly what I realized is there's Jeeps everywhere. I knew there were a lot of Jeeps on the road, but once you're really, really looking, they're everywhere.
Yes.
And so as I was doing this and paying attention and looking all around for Jeeps everywhere and finding them and getting to do my wave to everybody, we had our 2-year-old daughter who started getting in on the game. And so anytime we'd be driving, she'd be looking around and she'd yell, that's my Jeep. Or how'd she say it?
My Jeep.
My Jeep. My Jeep. It's so cute. But anyway, the point is that it became a family affair for all of us. And we were all just now very aware of all the Jeeps on the road. And we never missed any of them because we were looking so closely. So if you're still with me, you're probably wondering why I am telling you this story. And the reason is I'm working on a book right now. And I just finished a chapter. And the chapter is about seeing God's blessings and how very often, if we aren't looking, we miss God's blessings and we miss the things that he's doing in our lives. And the truth is that God's blessings are all around us and they're coming all the time. He is pouring them out on us. But if we're not actively looking for what God's doing in our lives and the blessings that are coming towards us or that are already in our lives, we can miss them. And one of the things that I was so guilty of for so many years was explaining away the things that God's doing. So when God would do something, so I'd get a promotion and I would explain it as, well, I just worked really hard. That's why I got a promotion. Yeah, or if you're struggling to get pregnant for a while and then you get pregnant and you happen to use a doctor, you can attribute that to the doctor or you can attribute it to God. Maybe God used that doctor, but at the end of the day, that's the blessing of the Lord.
The reality is that God uses natural things all the time to bless us. But I think that's why it makes it tricky to see that it is actually the Lord who is doing these things, rather than just seeing them as a coincidence and oh, well, it was just because I happened to be in the right place at the right time. Yep. It's well, yeah, you were there at the right place at the right time because of the Lord.
Yeah.
The Lord directs your steps. And you can look at that as just serendipitous, or you can see it for what it really is, which is the blessing of the Lord in your life.
Yeah, so we just want to encourage you in this today. Be looking around, be watching for what God's doing in your life. And sometimes he even does this through things that are big challenges and struggles and trials, and he uses them ultimately to be a blessing. We've
Yeah.
had this happen multiple times.
Right.
Like one of the best things that ever happened in my life was getting laid off.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so many fantastic things came through that. But the moment it happened, it was really hard to see it as a blessing. So I'm not at all trying to say that everything bad that happens is a blessing, but point is, it's like be watching, be looking to see what God is doing in your life.
Well, yeah, and also to that point, he does say that he will use everything for our good. God causes all things to work together for our good. Yeah, so the things that come into your life that are not from God, he is still using them to your benefit. So everything in your life, good or bad, he is weaving it together to make this amazing, beautiful life for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, we hope you found this helpful. If you did, hit the like button so you can let us know. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. We would love for you to be in the family with us. And that's all for today. Be blessed, be a blessing. We'll see you soon.
Bye.